job. And this is one of the individuals that has hardly moved. He started a little coaching while he was at North Carolina State in school, and was there in North Carolina State from 71 to 80, and then he was at Arizona, University of Arizona from 80 to 82, and since that time he's been at Florida State. Look at the schedule. He has 2 sessions tonight. We will take a little break in between, and he's going to talk with you a little bit on defensive line play. It's all yours, Coach.
Thank you. You guys ought to get the red merit badge. Saturday night, 7:30, sitting in a meeting, listening to defensive line coach. Golly, geez, man. That's what Tony Mason would like to be talking to you tonight. And believe me when I tell you. Well, I appreciate the invitation to come in here. I've been doing these for the last 5 or 6 years, and I really enjoy it. And I'm able to teach you something of how we do things at Florida State University. And again, remember, what I'm going to talk to you about is what we believe in. And that's what we believe in. That doesn't make it gospel. I run our football camp, and I tell the kids when they're getting ready to go home, the last session when we talk to them and dismiss them, I said, now the worst thing you can do is go back home and tell your high school coach he don't know how to coach, that he's doing it wrong, because that would be wrong. There's a lot of ways to skin the cat. What I'm going to talk to you about is what we believe in and how we go about teaching our defensive line, and in particular how we teach them to use the hands, and drills on teaching them. But again, it's the whole staff that puts it together. Let's keep it informal. Can you guys hear me back there? Just, if you got a question, ask. Raise your hand. If you can't understand me, raise your hand. I'm Italian. I talk fast. I love coming up north because you guys can stay with me as fast as I talk. Down here where I'm at, man alive. Would you repeat that, please? I mean, because they're so slow in the way they talk, and I'm the only guy who's misplaying Yankee down here in our staff. But it's really, I really enjoy coming up here, and the weather I can tell you I don't particularly miss, but other than that, I'm glad to be here. And I want to start off this way, and if you have a tape of mine or whatever that from this, you're going to hear it every time, and I start things off this way because I believe it. Men, I'm no smarter than anybody in this room, and I want you to know that. I have had an opportunity at a very early age to get on the college football scene. And I've been able to take that opportunity and run with it. I've only been at 3 schools in 25 years, but I've worked with some great people. Lou Holtz gave me my first job in starting life. I went from his graduate assistant, and 3 years later I was his defensive coordinator. And then I've worked with Bo Ryan, who's from up in Ohio, and Larry Smith out of the University of Arizona, and then Bobby Bowden. I went to Florida State thinking I was going to be there 2 years. Well, this year will be my 13th year coming up. And it's a great place to be. And I've learned from every one of them. I mean, it's just amazing. You learn, and when you stop learning, you got to get out of it. But I've learned, I mean, you people probably know more about Lou Holtz than you do about Bobby Bowden. But we played Notre Dame this year, and because I had worked for both people, that was the question. And everybody came to me, all the media. Well, what's the difference? What are the similarities? Well, the difference is this guy talks slow and this guy talks fast. You see? This guy here is low-keyed, you think, and this guy here, his motor runs 1,000 miles an hour. But the similarity is they're both winners. They're both winners. And they both preach fundamentals. They both preach fundamentals in everything they do. I've coached every position on defense, which I think has helped me, considerably, because I know all the problems that all the positions have. I always thought I'd never coach defensive line because I felt it was the most boring position in the world. And the longer I'm in it, you look at the great defenses, if you have a great quarterback and a great defensive front, you win. You win. You win. We lost 5 people off our front from a year ago. 2 of them were underclassmen. We didn't think we'd ever be able to replace them. The Kansas game, we have a goal line stand. What was it, 10 plays inside the 12-yard line? I mean, which made our season. And our front was absolutely, we shut 4 people out this year. We haven't shut 4 people out in the last 12 years, combined. And we did it 4 times this year and could have had 2 more. A block punt kept us from shutting out Duke. And so it helps to be able to know all the different things and what's right and what's wrong, but I really enjoy coaching the defense. I almost thought I was going to go back to the linebackers when we had a couple coaching changes this year. And I said, yeah, I'd like to do that. But then the more I thought about it, they said, well, we'll give you all 4 of them now and so on. And the front is where it's at. Because you look at the University of Miami for years, they had a great quarterback, and their defensive front just killed people. You just killed people. Don't make crap what you got behind them now. They just annihilated people. And we're getting to that way right now. We're playing pretty doggone good up front. I want to talk to you like I teach my own incoming freshmen. You know, so I'm going to be as elementary as I can, and I hope to be able to teach you something. And again, I sat in a meeting this afternoon, and this is true. We're teachers. I'm a teacher. You're a teacher. You are a teacher. And the best teachers win. Tony Mason said that this afternoon. And I use the same analogy. I mean, you know, the guy who teaches English or algebra, I was a math teacher, if he flunks people, nobody knows about that. But we get critiqued every Friday night or Saturday afternoon or Saturday night. You know, the whole city's there to watch you people, and they'll critique you, and they'll critique me and us and all of us. But that's a good part about what we do. And when you teach, you know, the fundamentals is a great part of teaching. We all have lesson plans. We all have lesson plans. It's just that we have all day to work on our lesson plan. For football, you have to work on 5 or 6 preparations of teaching, and then your lesson plan for practice. But we work all day on ours, on our practice lesson plan. And, well, how do we teach fundamentals? Well, and why do we teach fundamentals? Fundamentals and principles don't change. Techniques don't change. Schemes change. Schemes change. Wide tackle 6, 4-3, 5-2, 6-2, even front, odd front, you name it, 3-4, 5-8, 10-7, whatever you want to call it. Schemes change, but fundamentals and techniques don't change. You play a 3 technique in one scheme, you're going to play it the same way in another scheme. But the fundamentals of football don't change. Fundamentals give you something to fall back on when things go bad. And I can relate a lot. Every time there's a loss at Florida State, the one thing Coach Bowden does, that Monday, you can be rest assured, you be ready for a fundamental talk. It's, I don't want to hear no X's and O's. I don't want to hear any X's and O's. I want to, if we blocked better and if we tackled better, we would have won. If we played good fundamentals, we would have won. So, it's true. It's true. And I think one reason we get better as the year goes on, you know, we finally were fortunate enough to win one this year, and, you know, whether we were supposed to or not, well, Coach Holtz did such a great job in the 2 weeks that he had to prepare for Florida State and tell all of America that we're the greatest football team assembled in the 30 years he's coached. Well, they believed him. So at the end of the year, you know, when they beat us and they lost to Boston College and we won and things, well, those sports writers believed Lil. So he can't complain. And I told him that the other day on the telephone. I said, you're a great salesman, Coach. You've been playing, you know, we should send you a check. You ought to get a bonus too. But those things, when we lost that game, we came back and it was, we didn't tackle worth a crap. They didn't particularly just take us and manhandle us up front, but we didn't tackle. It was the worst tackling. Their backs were better than we were that day, you know? And it was just one of those things. But we came back, and what we do is 20 minutes every day, 15 to 20 minutes every day, the defensive and offensive line are going to get together and work. And when I say fundamentals, at the end of spring practice, wherever I've been, and again, I've not been in a lot of places, we're as good as we ever were. We're as good as we ever are, fundamentally. I say, well, let's look at our practice plan. Everybody has 20 to 35 minutes of individual work. What do you do in individual work? You teach fundamentals. Let's look at a practice plan the week before you play your arch rival. How much fundamental work do you have there? Why? Because you're scheming. If it's the fundamentals, let's work on fundamentals. We practice an hour and a half, excluding for bowls. We practice 14 days, an hour and a half, excluding kicking. 20 minutes, I get together with the offensive line. 10 minutes of run, 10 minutes of pass rush. 20 minutes of that hour and a half. And while we're doing that, the wideouts are doing one-on-one with the corners, and the quarterbacks and linebackers are doing, throwing inside and then do half scale and full scale. That's individual. That's individuals. And then we do another 10 minutes of 11 on 11 against one another. So we take 1/3 of our practice. And I don't care if we're going to play a wishbone team. 1/3 of our practice goes with working on fundamentals for the ball. Because we're petrified. We haven't played a game since the end of November. Defensively, we're petrified on being able to tackle somebody. Because one thing we won't do is, Coach Bowden, we won't have a big scrimmage before the ball, and we'll do some concealed scrimmages, inside, some low-key stuff in there, an inside drill or whatever, but there won't be, and that's only for 10, 15 minutes. So we're biting our fingernails, but that helps. That really, really helps. And well, I want to talk about how we go about teaching the hands and why we teach the hands and whatever, and working with defensive linemen. And there's some things here that I think, before we even get into that, now again, man, these are things that we believe in. Things that we believe in. First thing we want to do is we're going to evaluate our personnel. We're going to evaluate our personnel, and we do a good job of it. We're doing it right now. We're in an off-season program, and we do it twice a week. We do agilities and all that stuff at 5:55 in the morning to 7:15. And it's at 9 o'clock in the morning, Coach Bowden's not there, and I'm in charge of that thing. We go upstairs, I have every kid's name, and we go right across the room. Every coach analyzes every kid that went through his station that day, and he gets a plus, a minus, or a check. We're gonna talk about our people. We're going to try to get the right pegs in the right holes. We played with 3 defensive linemen this year that weren't defensive linemen when we started spring practice last spring rather. They were, 2 of them were outside linebackers, and 1 was a tight end. See, so we're going to evaluate those personnel. We recruit big linemen. We don't have, the one thing the state of Florida doesn't have a whole lot of big kids. And we have a lot of linebackers that may grow into big kids. And in the last 6 years, we've probably only had 2 people that played in our front that were defensive linemen before they got there. We've had a lot of linebackers that grew into good defensive linemen and tight ends. But you've got to evaluate your personnel. You've got to evaluate your personnel. Where you're going to put your people, what is your scheme, what are you looking for fundamentally in particular people that you're playing. Okay. 5 fundamentals. Stance. Everything we talk about, if we're talking about defensive linemen, linebackers, or defensive backs, you're going to talk about stance. Stance is where you start it all out. And stance, that's what we're working on right now with our players in our off-season. Everything we're doing right now is getting them in a football position, getting them bent down there, learning to bend their knees, learning to bend their power angles. You have 3 power angles in your body. You got your ankles, your knees, and your hips. And if you don't bend all 3 of them, you're not in a good football position. And I don't care if you're in a 2-point stance, a 4-point stance, or a 3-point stance. You can bend your hips without bending your knees and your ankles. You can actually bend your ankles without bending your knees or hips. You say, get lower, and the kid does this. We're doing agility drills, and he does that. He's a waist bender. No, bend these. Bend your knees, and your power angles, and your ankles and your hips will bend. Our stance, feet are shoulder width apart. We're in a 3-point stance now. We used to be in a 4-point stance. We're in a 3-point stance. We're going to get a little bit of separation in our feet as far as this way. We're not parallel anymore. And we drop our hand about 18 inches in front of them. And this hand here, I want it to dangle a little bit. I don't like them to put it on their knee, because I feel as soon as they start putting the other hand on their knee, this heel comes down on the ground. Because what we want to do, we want to push off our front foot. And if that heel's on the ground, that's a false step. Before I can do anything, I've got to bend my knee a little more, get that angle out, and get a push that I want to feel. Because our front is going to push off the football on every snap. We are going to come off the ball and react later. We're going to try to create havoc in the backfield with the front 4 people and just get a good hard push upfield and use our quickness, because we're not big. We're strong and we're quick, but we're not big. We're going to try to beat them across the line of scrimmage. So we're going to get in a good stance. Again, in evaluating personnel, what kind of striking ability do they have? And we use hands. We use hands, and I'll tell you the reasons why and whatever, and you know, but what kind of striking ability does he? How powerful is he? Because up front, we can't have somebody that's going to be, you know, for faint. You know, you go play a Michigan, or you go play a Notre Dame. That's no place to play the faint-hearted. There's no place for a coward when you play people like that, because they're going to come and strike you down the middle, and you better be able to strike them back. So what kind of striking ability does that man have in using his hands? Another fundamental that we work like mad on is attacking the line of scrimmage. We are going to attack the line of scrimmage. You come and watch a practice at Florida State University, you're going to hear me screaming constantly. Attack, 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 attack. Get your motor going. Get it going. Also, it's easy to slow down. It's hard to get them going. Get them going. But coach, they're down and around. They're blocking down and around. I'm getting pinned. I don't care. I don't care about a blocking scheme right now. Get going. Get going. We got 3 linebackers sitting behind you. That's why they eat on our training table. You get your feet across that line of scrimmage. Get going. Create a problem. We've been watching cut-ups for the last 2 weeks, and it's amazing during the season how bad we think they're playing, and now we look at it and we say, gee, that kid played pretty good. And we watch it with visiting coaches come in, and they say, boy, your guys come off the ball. I said, no, they obviously they must have done a halfway decent job, but we're always attack, 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 come off the ball, attack the line of scrimmage. And then your keys are going to come later. Our key is the football. Our key is the football. We're not going to ask him to do a lot of things. You key that ball. When that ball moves, you go. Go. And then we're going to react on a move. And and that sounds like I'm double, but we don't. I learned a long time ago, I worked with a man by the name of Dale Hopp, who's been coaching. He coached in the Chicago Bears for about 7, 8 years, and he's been with Philadelphia for the last 7, 8 years. A great defensive line coach. And I was just a young graduate assistant. He came to North Carolina State with Lou Holtz, and I was coaching the linebackers, and we would go over to, and I would listen to everybody, and because I wanted to learn. And he says, we attack, we take an attack step. I said, good. Let's say you're in a right-handed stance, and you're the left 5 technique, and you're shaded that offensive tackle, and he base blocks. I step with my inside foot, bam. Hit him, good. That guy blocks down. I step with my inside foot, and they squeeze it, bam, good. You're in that same right-hand stance, and that guy hooks blocks out. I step with my left foot. Now, wait a minute, whoa. How did he know to step with his left foot on that block if he's attacking to begin with? Well, we're going to attack. I said, well, we're going to attack on the move. We're going to be reading and this and that. And he's a great coach, and I learned a lot from him. But I didn't know how to teach that. I said, well, then you're reading and then attacking. He says, yes. I'm going to read the block. Well, no, we're not even doing that. We're going to read the ball. We're going to take a step with our inside foot. If we're in a right-handed stance, it's going to be our right foot. If we're in a left-handed stance, it's going to be our left foot. And then we're going to react from there. We're not going to take a pass rush step where you try to gain as much ground in the first step as possible. We're going to take a good step, a good attack step, so we can push it up the field and then react from there. Movement to the ball and acceleration. This is a fundamental of everything on defense. Movement to the ball and acceleration. That's why we like to have linebackers playing the defensive line. I was a linebacker. I coached linebackers for 10, 12 years, and linebackers get upset when they don't make the tackle. Well, if you have a front of 7 people, now you got 7 people that are pissed off because they not in a tackle. You got them all going to the ball. You're not screaming at them. You're not screaming. I know when I coached the secondary, and the defensive lineman, get your butt to the ball. And the line coach would be pissed because I was screaming, well, get him to the football. Well, he's heavy. We'll get him to lose weight. But do something, but get his butt to the football. That's the object of defense, is getting to the ball. I mean, I can defeat this block, but if I can't run from point A to point B, what good is it? What good is it if I can't get to the football? And then the most important thing, can you tackle? You can have all those other ingredients. You can have a great stance. You can be 6'4". You can weigh 280 pounds. You can run a 4.6. You can bench press the weight room. You can do all this other stuff. And you can whip a blocker, and every time you run over there, you miss a tackle. You're over there and you miss a tackle. You're over there and you miss a tackle. They come at you, you miss the tackle. Well, what's the sense of playing with him? He needs to go play offense. He needs to go play offense. You see? And no, see, when we have a problem with tackling, I send a defensive lineman down with the offensive line coach. They tackle like hell. Shit, they're the best tackling. They teach tackling better on offense than we do. I mean, they do it. Go down there and learn how to tackle. Get down to the scout squad. Go down to the scout squad and learn how to tackle. When you can learn how to tackle, come on back and you can play for me. But those are some things that we believe in. Why do we use the hands? Why do we use the hands? Well, we're going to use our hands, and again, be careful leading with the head. We try to get our hands on a blocker as quickly as we can. Our head may be the last thing to hit the meat. But if it's a base block, you know, when you use the forearm shiver, you stuck your shoulder in, and that stopped the charge, and your forearm stuck up in there. You took your free arm, and you're in here, and you get separation. Well, you were using hands then. You were using one hand. You see, you were using one hand then. Well, we're going to use both hands. And we want to form a triangle with our hands. And how we use it? With our head, our face, and our hands. Our face and our hands. We'd like to get our face mask in the V of the neck of the offensive lineman to the gap that we have, and our hands on his chest plates, which will form a nice triangle right in through here. That's utopia. We don't always get that. We don't always get that. But why do we use it? Well, we use it because of holding. I mean, I think that they do such a good job, and if I was an offensive line, I'd teach it too. Shit, Tony Mason said it this afternoon. Hold. Tackle them. Umpire ain't going to call 50 holding penalties a game. He'll get fired. He'll get fired. Find out where the umpire is if you're an offensive line coach, and make sure the other people on the other side of the line of scrimmage ain't going to hold like hell. They ain't going to see him. They ain't going to see him. But holding has become, since they are allowed to use their hands and even things up, holding it, you get it up in there like this with a forearm, and they're going to grab that arm and pull it up in there. They're going to grab your shirt and everything else. But I think by getting your hands on people, football has become a game of leverage. Front football has become a game of leverage. There's so many similarities to football and wrestling that's unbelievable. I wrestled for 16 years. And football is becoming World Wrestling Federation. You know, you push here, I push there, you know, and hips and body weight. I push on him, I try to, and it's leverage. You know, they come in and they measure the offensive lineman from here to here. What's their span? Well, then they better start measuring defensive linemen because we have to go against them. How far can they get those hands out there? Another reason, quick separation. You get a quick separation if you use your hands right. You get your hands on a blocker quickly, your separation is right now. And then you have a better chance of being able to shed a blocker if you get your hands inside, like we're going to talk about here in a little bit. I firmly believe it helps your pass rush. I believe by attacking the line of scrimmage helps your pass rush. You know, when we were a read defense, on first down, we had very few sacks. Because we were playing the run. Playing the run. We had very few sacks. We have a lot more first down sacks now because of the type of defense we're in and because our kids use their hands a lot better now than they did 6, 7 years ago. But I really believe it will help your pass rush because that's what you use on pass rush. Again, we were talking about it before. When you use the forearm, your shoulder, get on down there, boy, that sucker comes on there, boom! You get up in here, shoulder stops the charge, get that forearm in there, take your free hand and get separation. Well, now we're using our face as a stop the charge. We come off the ball there, I want to stick that face in the V. I want my face under his. I want the low man wins. I want my face under his. That's why I've got to be able to bend my knees in my stance. I don't want to play on his level. That sucker comes off the ball like that, or they run a sprint draw, and he's from here, and he steps like this. I don't want to play up on his level. I want to play down here. He's too big. He's 300 pounds. He's 320 pounds. In your league, he's 250, 240 pounds. And you're playing with kids a lot smaller, an awful lot smaller. We played the University of Michigan up there 3 years ago, and they had that big scruff neck at one tackle, 300 and who knows how many pounds. And the other tackle, they're big, they're huge. And watched all the film we could on them, and they just wore people down. We brought 3 deep in the defensive line, and this is the truth. And we play a lot of people now, and not just for that game, but we play a lot of people. Helps morale. They know they're going to play if we're winning, losing, or whatever. They're going to play. They're going to get in the game. It really helps their morale. They know they're going to get in the game. In the first half, all 9 of those guys played. I had three people, 2 defensive tackles and a nose guard. They all played. The least number of plays that any one guy played was 6. At the end of the game, they were worn out. In fact, the big tackle made a statement. Every time I looked up, there's a different number on me. This guy was a big one. He was a fast one. He was a tall one. He was a short one. He was quick. He could do that. I couldn't do this. And he got worn down mentally. Every time he looked up, there was a different player there. Different player there. But if we kept our pads under his, and that's where hat placement is so important, and that's where, to stop the charge with the butt. If we get our pads under his, we're going to win. I don't care how big he is. If we play with a flat back, I don't care how big he is. Because if he's there and I'm here, I've got my power angles bent. How do you teach those to bend your knees? Well, you're all in an off-season program. Teach them to how do you teach them to do a power squat? A power clean. How do you teach them to do a power clean? You tell them, get your feet up under you, about shoulder width apart, bend your knees, bend them down there. You grab the bar, and what do you tell them to do with their head? Look, you see that thing going across there? Keep your eyes up there. Don't do this. You hurt your back. Keep your eyes up there. There, I've got my power. And then what do? You explode. There's your torque. It's a great football-related move. There's your torque because you're coming out of your hips. You're using the strongest muscles in your body. Well, now, if I got my pads under his, I can use that, even though I'm smaller than him by 100 pounds. And believe me, we lined up this year, we were 100 pounds lighter than some of the people we lined up over. But if we can keep our pads down and get that hat across and stop his charge with my face and get that hat under his, we're going to be in pretty good shape. And then we're going to follow with the hands. Well, what do we do? And again, this isn't anything that is dynamic. And again, I learned this from Dale Hopp, and I think he's a heck of a coach. A lot of this stuff here. Shoot your hands across the line of scrimmage. We want to get our hands from the ground to the blocker as quick as we can. I want to get my hands from here to here as quick as I can. Now look, this here ain't as quick as I can, is it? What'd I do? I cocked my arms. That's not getting them. I taught math. It's the only thing I was good at. And I was from 2 points, quickest point is a straight line. Here. Well, kids say, well, coach, you can't hit them hard enough. I don't care. Get your hands on the blocker as quick as you can. Let him cock his hands. I learned a lot from an old coach down at Miami Dolphins, Mo Scary. Boy, he's retired now. I coached with Don Shula for years and years and years. And he talked about getting his hands on the blockers. Get the hands across the line of scrimmage. Thumbs up. When you strike with your hands, thumbs up. Get your thumbs up. And again, this didn't mean anything to me when I wasn't coaching the defensive line. When I was coaching the linebackers or secondary. Why? Well, now I can see. Anybody here ever wrestle or coach wrestling? Anybody? I did for 16 years. And in stand-up wrestling, we had an axiom in Pennsylvania where I learned, elbows in, you win, elbows out, leg out. Elbows in, you win. Where are my thumbs? They're up. If he shoots in here, I can protect it. It's that way. If I'm like this happens. This happens. I learned that in grade school, wrestling. Never knew I was going to be a defensive line coach. You see? Never knew that. See, the last defensive line coach from Florida State is down here. Did you see the guy at the door tonight? About 63 years old. He's a bellman. He was the ex-defensive line coach of Florida State, so that's what I have to look forward to, in a couple of years. But see, I didn't know that I was going to be that. But thumbs in, thumbs up rather, thumbs up. That's where you get your power. Thumbs, pump, pop, straight up, thumbs up, just like a boxer. He turns his fist when he punches, when he jabs. There's your jab. There's your jab. And what does it do? It locks my elbows. It locks my elbows. And that's the next thing. Lock your elbows when you strike them. Lock your elbows when you strike them. Boom, you're coming up. That doesn't mean they have to be straight out, but when I'm striking them, make those elbows locked so that this doesn't happen, because you are hitting a big body. You're hitting a big body, and we hit a lot of machines, and a lot of heavy machines and buckboards that are in the ground that don't move. They just got a little spring like that. So lock them, lock them. Don't have your elbows mushy that when you hit this happens. This happens. No, you don't want that. Because if this happens, you're not separating. You're getting beat. You're getting beat. then explode out of your hips and move your feet. The hip explosion isn't as big as it used to be, but you still got to get some hip explosion there, but move your feet. Move your feet. You can't play anywhere unless you move your feet. I can be the strongest guy in the world. I can strike a blow, but if that offensive lineman has a follow-up, because he moved his feet and I don't move mine, I lose. I will lose. I guarantee you that. Hit him with a flat back. We call it a flat back. There it is. I'm in my stance. That's a flat back. I come off the ball, I want a flat back. Flat back. I want to get a flat back hitting position. Because if I have a flat back, I've got my power angles bent. I've got my power angles bent. And so hit him with a flat back, grab cloth. Grab cloth for leverage. And again, I remember Bobby Morrison was coaching the defensive line at North Carolina State. I was the linebacker coach, and Mo Scary comes up. I didn't even know who the guy was. And he's talking to Bobby Morrison about defensive line play. This is 20 years ago. And he's talking about hands. He says, show me how you grab cloth, Bobby. He says, well, what do you do with this? Well, I just grab it. He says, that's a hook. It's an old timer. That's a hook. He says, you use that as a hook, and so that when you grab it, you use it as a hook. And what happens with that thumb? Bam! See, I hit and grab there. Bam! It's a hook to grab cloth. And here's the best place in here to get it. We're shooting in here tight. They got the tight jerseys on, but they got something here to grab. But grab any cloth you can. If you grab his belt, grab it. Something to give you leverage. But use those hands inside, and all that will do what? Thumbs up, lock elbows, elbows in, power. See, right there. Grab onto that. Now I got leverage. I can shake him. I can separate. I can shed the blocker. I can shed the blocker. So shoot those hands across the line of scrimmage. Thumbs up. Lock those elbows. Explode out of your hips. Move your feet. Flat back. Grab cloth. Grab cloth. Now, when we're talking about that, I think it's really important to keep those pads down. And the best way I can explain that, and I heard, we had an old coach when I got there, Bob Harbison. He'd been there for years and years and years, coach every position, both sides of the football. And I heard him talking to a group one night, and he says, well, how do you get down there and rush the quarterback, or how do you play down there? He says, let me tell you how to get down there. Let's say this is your car, and there's a gas station, you just ran out of gas, and it's not a Volkswagen. It's a 1952 Buick, which is a tank, for some of you younger guys in here. It's a tank. He says, but you got to get that car from there to there to get it filled up with gas. How would you push it? Would you push it this way? Could you push it? No way. How would you push it? Well, show me how you'd push it. Well, I guess I have to get down there. Well, show me. I guess I'd have to get down there. Now, could you push it? Yeah. Well, there's football, man. There's football. You want to play football up front? You play. Look at the power angles. Look at my ankles. Look at my knees. Look at my hips. Look at my back. Look at my arms. I can rush the quarterback. I can play the run. I'm not there. I will win here. I'm going to get that car over there, get gas in it, so my old lady don't know that I've ran out of gas. If she does, she's going to bust my unions, you see. But if I'm here, can I get it over there now? No. Can I get to the quarterback? No. Can I beat a base block? No. No way. No way. Get those pads down. Well, how do we go about it? Well, men, you can start right now. You can start right now. Right now in teaching your hands. Now, all of you are in an off-season program. All of us are in an off-season program. First thing I do, I tell our strength coach. And it took me a long time. Oh, you know, he's in there doing all these bench presses and all these other things and whatever. I said, good, do all that crap. Do all that crap, but there's one move you're going to do. There's a couple things you're going to do for me. I want a bench press. I want a tight grip bench press. Let them do the other ones where they can do as much money as they can. They can go tell the guy at the local bar that they bench press the weight room. Great. But I want a tight grip bench press. Now, I want that bar right in here. That's where we're playing. Now, what's wrong here now? When I do a tight grip bench, what did I tell you about using your hand? Where's your thumb supposed to be? Where are my thumbs? Are they up? No, I said, I don't want a tight grip bench press on a regular bar. I want you either to make one or go buy that bar that they use for curls. Get that bar. Now you do tight grip bench presses. Okay, there you are. Where are my thumbs? They're up. I'm doing, look at my hands. They're 9 to 12 inches apart. Okay, now the problem with people that I have, because they are big up top, and it's not really a problem. This isn't a long bar. Okay, you start putting big plates on over there, as they bring them down, the plates are going to hit their shoulders. Now, what am I doing right now? What am I teaching my guy right now to do here? Separate from the block. He don't even know it. He don't even realize. Look, I want you to get as much. I want you to do 3 reps. I don't want you to do 15 reps. I don't want you to get pretty. I want you to be able to play football. If the pretty muscle was a football player, all the guys in all those contests, we'd be playing with him. You see? I want you to be powerful that you can take 350 pounds and do this. That's what's going to happen in the game. This. Do 3 of them on your own. Do another one. And now get help with 2. Forced repetition. Overload. You bring it down and you can't push it up, have your partner help. 1 more. 2 more. So he did 2 extra with help. Do 3 sets that way. I'm teaching him to use his hands. I'm teaching my players to use their hands now. They don't even realize it. I'm teaching them to separate from a block now. Now, another thing we do, and for a better use of the word, I call it plyometric push-ups. I mean, I don't know what else to call it. I mean, you know, we stand like this, and you don't even need any weights. And I tell them, you fall on the ground, and I want your hands on your nipples, your thumbs are up, and we're going to fall down, and you're going to push up. Push up. Down. Push up. What am I doing? What am I doing right here? Look, what am I doing? I'm doing what? Separating from a block. Do as many reps as you can. 3 sets of it. Now look, don't let them do it this way. Don't let them do it this way. Where are my thumbs? My thumbs are in. If I'm teaching, I want my thumbs up. What is that doing with my elbows when I hit the ground? My elbows are in. My elbows are in. Push up. Get separation. Maybe he can only do 3 of them. Do 3 sets. A month from now, he can do 6 reps in a set. He's getting better. And don't let him come up like a snake. Don't let him hit the ground and snake himself up. Try to keep that thing as stiff as you can when you push yourself up. You see? Try to keep that back as stiff as you can when you push yourself up. You can do that right now. There ain't no rule in your high school that says you can't do that, your high school football coach association. There ain't no rule in NCAA says we can't do that. Medicine ball. Get the daggone heaviest medicine balls you can find. Get the heaviest medicine balls you can find. And have this guy stand in front of a guy. He's laying right here. Right there. His head's right there. Take that medicine ball and you just drop it. Okay, I'm the guy on the ground. I catch it. Where are my thumbs? They're up. Look how, a medicine ball, look, my hands got to be pretty close, don't they? See how tight my hands got to be? And take that medicine ball and you push it up as high as you can. I want you to throw that medicine ball over my head. You're going to do 20 reps of that. And if the ball don't go over my head, it doesn't count. Doesn't count. Now, when they get good at that, do 3 sets of that. Now let one guy stand on a platform or a chair or whatever, and let the guy get down there so he has to push it further. See? He has to push that ball another 1.5 feet to get over my head. What is he working on? Separating from a block. Separating from a block. Thumbs up. Separating from a block. Separating from a block. He can get better. You can get better right now. If you're going to use your hands, towel pull-ups. Take some towels. I don't care if you got a weight room, and we got a great weight room, but there's beams in our weight room. There's some beams that are showing. Throw a towel over this beam, tie it in a knot, get it down here, wrap tape around this one, do the same thing over there, keep it tight. Let them do towel pull-ups. Let him do towel pull-ups. The knot's going to hold his hand here from slipping. Okay? Let him do 3 sets of as many as he can. Well, Coach, I can't do any. Well, can you do a half of one? Do it. Do it. Do 3 sets of a half. Let the guy bend his knees and let a guy help him. All you got to do is push his feet up a little bit. But what are you strengthening? You're strengthening his grip, his wrists, his forearms. You're strengthening the things that you want him to be a physical with, striking power. Those things there are going to be necessary when you're going against people that are trying to block you. There's nothing. We do the medicine ball when we're in two-a-days. When we do two-a-days, the morning practice is run-oriented. The first 20 minutes of the morning practice is punt team. They don't have any of my guys on punt team. They'd like a couple of them, but they ain't going to get them. Now, if they really want them, they can have anybody want. Don't get me wrong, because the kicking game has got priority. But whoever I have left, the first thing we do is we'll go up there underneath the shade tree, and we'll do plyometric push-ups. Then we'll do the medicine ball. And then we'll do, on a goal post, or on one of those tire machines, you know, the gauntlet machines that the running backs run through. Well, we have that on my field, because we run through that for pass rush. Because you can't brother-in-law each other. You can't brother-in-law anybody running through those things. You say, well, I'll wrap them there. I said, I got any of each. They're doing pull-ups. They're doing those things there, so we're working on stuff that we can get better at, that we're going to get better. We're going to use our hands. Get a speed punching bag. Get a speed punching bag. Say, well, my kids don't know how to use it, and I don't either. Well, good, learn. Then it's fun. You know, the first time you set that thing, you hit it, and you'll miss it. And then you'll hit it, and you'll miss it. And then you'll hit it, and you'll miss it. And you'll be cussing at that sucker. And then you'll get a little, and you'll hit it, and you'll hit it, and you'll miss it. Then you'll get to where you got a pretty good rhythm going. And then you'll miss it, and you have to start over again. But if you're going to use your hands, learn to use them. Learn to react on something really quick. And boy, does that blow your forearms up if you can get a rhythm going. And have a little fun at it. You know, they'll have a little fun. Who can hit the speed bag the longest without missing? You can have a whole lot of fun doing that. Okay, now those are things we can do right now without pads on. Without pads on. Now here's some more things we're going to do with and or without pads. And I may need some help on this. We talked about plyometric push-ups, which you do in pre-practice. Do that in your off-season program. We'll do those things in pre-practice. And then we're going to pair up. Now we're going to pair up. Now if I can get 2 bodies up here, I need help with two people. And up here, like you say, to show you what we'll do. Just again, remember what I said, when we're using our hands, we want to come from the ground up as quick as we can. So we need to work on things doing that right there. All right, I need 2 bodies. Come on. Come on, Coach. You get down here right in front of me. On your knees. On your knees. Okay? Now, what you get, and you get right behind him. You put your hands right here on his, this is nothing with, that other people probably haven't shown you, but I really like this. Now what we'll do, I may be the first string left defensive end, he may be the second string, he may be the third string. My nose guard might be there, my right defensive end might be over there. So I'm working everybody at one time. I'm working them all at one time, okay? So I want to get in here as tight as I can, not too tight. Now, I tell this guy, look, on the first 3 whistles, you give him very little resistance, because I want to be able to do this to him. See, I don't want you to resist him enough that I can't do this to him. Because every time I blow that whistle, I'm going to bring my hands from here to here and there as fast as I can. See? Bam! Bam! getting used to fitting your hands where you want them. Fit the hands where you want them. Don't just tell them. Fit them in there. Get your hands in there and separate. And separate. Bring them up and separate. Right? On the fourth whistle, now this guy, you become a post. You push. I don't want his back to go now. On the fourth whistle, I'm going to say, do the same thing. Now come to your feet, pushing off of both feet at one time, coming off the ground with both knees at one time, and shed the blocker to your right. Shed the blocker to your right. So I'm going to blow that whistle. It's going to be bam, separate. Now you push like mad. You push like mad. So that I come here. Now shed them. Bam. Shed the blocker. See? Then we'll do it the other direction. On the fourth whistle, I'll shed them this way. Then I can do it the afternoon. I may do it with pass rush. And we don't do a lot of arm over because we're short. But it can get him used to using his left hand and his left hip together. I'll say on a fourth whistle, you're pushing. Let's work on a swim move. You're here. You're pushing. Now I'm going to pull with my left hand and left hip here and step through with my right foot and right arm. See, it's hard to come under, but I'm trying to get him to use and pass rush my right foot and right arm working together, my left foot and left. Then we do it the other way. Okay? And we do it without pads. We stick a little dummy about 6 by 12 in our shirt. And they use them to kneel on, too. All right, now. All right, Coach, I don't need, thank you, Coach. Now, we'll do another drill, and we got this. I believe it was from, I got this either visiting Texas A&M or LSU or something. Now, this guy's going to get into a three-point stance. This guy here is going to beat an offensive lineman. I'm going to get in a 6-point stance. Toes, knees, and hands. Okay? And now, he's going to be an offensive lineman. Go ahead and stand up, Coach. Just stand up for the time being right now. He's going to, and here's what I want to do. He's going to step off the ball a couple steps. But all I want this guy to do is stick his nose into his helmet, under his helmet, take these hands and bring him straight up and roll my hips. Straight up and roll my hips. See? So now he's an offensive lineman. Now you may back up just a little bit. And then this guy is as important to the drill as I am because he's got to come off the ball and he needs to keep his helmet, his face mask over my helmet. I want my eyes open. I want my eyes to hit him here, right there. So he gets in a three-point stance. Go ahead, Coach. Get in a three-point stance. And when I blow that whistle, you're going to take a step with your right foot. Go ahead. And then your left foot. And you're going to be right about there. And I'm going to end up right here. I'm going to go hit, take another step, and these hands come straight up and here. You see? And I'm going to do that 3 or 4 reps. Come on back. Let's do it again. Now, again, he's going to come off there about half speed. Now, I'm sitting back here, and all I'm going to do is my neck is bowled, my eyes are open, he comes off, his chin's going to be on the top of my head. His chin's going to be on the top of my head, and I'm going to put my nose right here and my hands on his chest plates and roll my hips. And he's going to press against me. Go ahead. Go. Boom, boom, boom. See? And I've got a little drill film. If we have any time, I can show you how to do that. Good drill. You can do that, and then on a third, fourth whistle, take him and shed him this way. Set him that way. And when you do that, this guy's going to fall that way. He'll help the drill out. Thanks, Coach. Those are things that we do with it. We're not beating the hell out of people. That's what we call it a Seminole hands drill. Defensive lineman's in a 6-point stance. Offensive lineman is in a 3-point stance. Offensive lineman comes off the ball. Defensive man going to butt with his face, roll his hips. Most important, you're going to bring your hand and arm extension straight up. Do 4 or 5 reps. Bam, 1, 2, 3, 4. Get out of there. And you're doing 3 at a time. If you have the whole front 4 or all front 5, you do 5 at a time. So they're all getting work together. You're all getting work together. And it's important for the other guy doing it to help the drill out. To help the drill out. Good. All right. No, because if I'm lined up in the shade, for him to come and block me, he's going to have to try to come and get his, get his hat out here. Let's say I'm shading you this way. If you're trying to hook me, and again, I'm pushing up the field, you've got to take a hard zone step, and if you take a hard zone step, if I'm flying off, you may even take a drop step. You hear the offensive line coach, we're on their zone, they take a drop, crossover, well, good. If I come off the ball hard, I might hit him when they're in their crossover. You see, where I've got his body's here, and I maybe catch him in that unbalanced thing here. But no, we're going to do the same thing. Aiming points the same way. Well, now, the thing we're not going to get a great squeeze on a down block. You see, I'm not going to ask my guys to do two things. I'm going to ask them to react on things, but I can't ask him, squeeze down block square, but you get your ass up the field. It ain't going to happen. Now remember, we're playing with 3 linebackers. You see, it's just like rushing the quarterback. I'm not going to ask the guy, now you rush the quarterback, and as I walk away from the huddle, we're in nickel defense, or watch the draw, watch the trap. Secondary coach yells out, watch the screen, watch this. No, bullshit. These guys, we put them in the game to put the quarterback on his ass. We got 7 people covering. I coached linebackers long enough to know that they're responsible for the draw, isn't it? Last I knew. It was the fundamental of a linebacker that you don't go to your draw point until a quarterback crosses the draw point. Isn't that a fundamental? That's a fundamental linebacker play. Well, hell, that's your job. That's why you eat on our training table, son. Those 4 turds in front of you, they eat on our training table and put that quarterback on his butt. And he can't, it's tough enough to get back there, let alone having to worry about the draw, the trap, the this, the that. We're going to react to it, naturally. We're going to react to it. But the same thing with that down block. If they veer block and run a trap inside, but again, we've got a middle linebacker standing in there. And if they outside it, if they pass influence on a trap, well, now they can't get all of our linebackers because they're wasting one guy. But we'll drill that to make something that is a problem to the defense a positive to the defense. Every defense you have has a hole in it. We just try to make the hole as far removed from the ball as we can. If we can make the hole way out there, great. If we can make the hole 18 yards deep, 5 yards from the sideline, great. That's where the hole of the defense. If they can attack there and execute it, fine. If they can run a trap on us all day, we're in big trouble. If they can run a ball this way, we're in big trouble because the hole's right there at us. It's getting there in a hurry, and we got to do something to. But no, we won't adjust on that. We're going to react to it and move to it. But again, and if this is something we could talk about all day. If I had time to show you some films or whatever, you can say, well, gee, that don't work. But yeah, come watch us play North Carolina. They run the freeze option. And they had 2 tailbacks that averaged so much. They did it outside. Their fullback didn't get anything inside. Come watch us play against so-and-so. His fullback was averaging this, and we had to stop the trap. Now, we didn't slow anything down. You see, we weren't going to slow anything down. Now, if we have to, if we can't stop it, then we have to do something. First thing we're going to do is take middle linebacker and tighten him up. You see, because that's his gap on a trap. He don't need to be making a play on a pitch. He's got to make a play on fullback. Then we might take one of those 2 inside people and let him read it. If they start blocking the center back and pulling guard, I might be able to come across the face. But I don't want to do the 2 of them because that's not Florida State defense. And if I have to, before I make them both read, I'll take both these suckers and do this to them. I'll stun them in there. But at least we're doing something what? Aggressive. Aggressive. Our whole defense is predicated on being aggressive. Getting after them, being aggressive. Attack, 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 be aggressive. Be aggressive. Do we have, can I turn that projector on? Let me show this a couple of these drills. This might, if I got the right film, I got so many. This might help on those drills real quick. We got about 5 minutes before we have to go. All right, what do we do here?
What'd they have to push the other day, last night? You remember the button they had to push?
No. 2 seconds. Got it. on.
Okay. Where's my reverse at? That's all I need.
Got it?
No, but I'll find it. Here's the hands drill we're talking about right there. It's trying to bring the hands up real quick. Bring them up real quick. Shoot them straight up. Up. Get them on a blocker. Get them on a blocker. Shed the blocker. Here they're working on a little bit of pasture. Guy on the bottom here is not getting his hands up quick enough. Now we go the other direction. There's a little arm under. Now this is the one we're trying to do with two people. And it's important for the offensive guy to come off the ball as it is the defensive guy. We're going to try to bring our hands straight up. Bring your hands straight up. Boom. Now there's a pad on their chest. They ain't going to get hurt. Stick that nose right in there. Bring the hands straight up. I don't want them to cock their arms. I want them to bring the hands straight up. See, the guy up top didn't do it very. Bring them straight up quick. Their head will make contact on this one. Well, it's almost going to have to. Now, if I bring my hands up quick enough, the head won't, but even it won't make it first contact. But sooner or later, my hands, that's a big man coming at him. The head's going to be there to stop the charge. But you see, you get a little bit of your extension in there, your flat back. Again, we're fitting our head, our face, and our hands. You see how tight we have our hands inside? We're fitting our face and our hands inside. Inside on that right there. Boom. Boy, the guy in the middle, we're going to miss this kid so much. He was a nose guard for us. He had a tumor taken out a year ago. Boy, his hands are so quick, and he is so strong in his lower body, it's amazing. A linebacker, 6'2 and a half, 262 pounds. Probably runs 4'8". Now we're going to do the same thing on a sled. And you can do it on any kind of sled. We now have a Rogers sled. But you can do the same, bringing my hands from the ground up. And don't cock them. I don't want you to cock your hands. See that guy? He cocked his arm. I don't want that. And it's only natural at first. Bring him straight up. This guy does it pretty good. Straight up. Get him on the blocker as quick as you can. Now that pad turns, so it's hard and it's too wide to get my thumbs up. My thumbs are going to be in on this. It's kind of a negative teaching thing. But the thing I'm stressing here is getting my hands on a blocker as quick as I can. Get them on the blocker as quickly as you can. Lock those elbows, run your feet. Remember we said, got to move those hips, run those feet. Get your hands on the blocker. Now, we want to teach them how to bend our knees? We do it under a cage. That cage is 20 feet long by 10 feet wide by 4 feet high. And we do 1,000 agility drills under there. We do agility drills under here better than anybody on our football team because we do this every day. We do this every day. Butts down. Bend your knees and your ankles, not just your waist. Now, I make them do a forward roll or a seat roll at the end of every agility drill because we're going to get knocked down at times. It's going to happen. The other guy's a good coach. They got good people. We'll go down and back. This is just a duck walk. See, this is no good. The guy on this side, he's bending his waist too much. Bend your hips. Get your knees down there. I'm not concerned about your speed here. I'm just concerned about you learning. I'm emphasizing the move with your knees bent. This guy's bending his waist too much. Oh, this guy's terrible over here. Now he's dropped it down a little bit. There you go. This guy, there, look at the bend he's got. That's that 57. He's a heck of a player, too, because he'll do the little things. Now we're going to go down and we're going to shuffle down. We're going to work down and shuffle. Down and back. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Keeping our shoulders square. We whip the block. I may have to shuffle a little bit. We're going to go both directions on this. Then we're going to put those half rounds in there, and we're going to shuffle over those half rounds. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to shuffle over those half rounds. We're going to put those half rounds in there, and for some reason it's not on this tape, and we're going to do change of direction over those half rounds underneath those pants. We're going to do change of directions underneath those half rounds. Can you turn that light back on there? Now, another thing on that drill we were just doing there with shuffling, if I can get somebody up here, we'll do the same thing, but it's not on the film. I don't know why. I needed somebody up here again. We'll do that same drill, that same drill that we're doing there, shuffling down the line of scrimmage underneath those pins, okay? And now I'll make him lock up, okay? And I tell him, look, I'm a left technique. I've got my left arm free. Whether I'm a left 5 technique, a left 9 technique, a left 3 technique, a right 2 technique, a right 4 technique, but I got this arm free, okay? You've got that arm free. This is my power arm and my power hip. So we lock up, and you grab my shirt inside. Inside, there you go. Now remember, we're going to be underneath these pins, and we're down here, bent. Now we tell them to work down here about 3/4 speed. And as I'm working, I want to push with this arm and pull this arm. And you're doing the same thing. You're pushing with your right arm. No, push with your right arm. There you go. There you go. So see this? We're going like this, and we're working. See, they're working. I'm trying to teach them. You feel what you're pushing there? You're trying to defeat what kind of a block? A reach block. You see? And we'll come back and do the same thing. Now which one's your power arm? And here. Same thing. Boom, boom, boom. You see what I'm doing? I'm teaching them to defeat a reach block. I get hooked. I'm under those pins. No helmets under the pins. No, they put their helmets on, they'll hit the head all day because it don't hurt. They take their damn helmets on, they don't want to skin that head. It hurts. Shit, they got them shaved now. It hurts, that shaved head. No, helmets come off. Helmets come off when we work on here. Thanks, Coach. But that's a way, again, fit up the block. Fit up the block. Okay? Need to take a little break?